Robert, welcome. It's good to have you here. Is this your first trip to the White House?
Yeah, this is my first trip to the White House.
Are you a little bit nervous?
No, sir, not at all.
Excellent. That's great. Hey, Robert. Robert, you live in Mississippi?
Yes, sir. Live in Mississippi.
And you work at the Nissan plant?
Yes, sir, I do.
Great. What's that button you got on there?
This button right here on my jacket is a saying that we got. It's a saying from the Lord's Prayer: "Lead us not into temptation."
Why don't you tell the story that leads you to that button, Robert?
All right, good morning. How are y'all doing? That's good. I want to begin by saying thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be here today and share my story. I'm deeply honored to be invited by Secretary Perez to be a part of this panel and speak at the White House. I was born and raised in Jackson, Mississippi. I attended Callaway High School, and I'm a proud father of a 6-year-old daughter. I also attend Anderson United Methodist Church in Jackson, Mississippi. Currently, I work at the Nissan plant in Canton, Mississippi. I'm a production technician working in the light commercial vehicle department on the frame line. My job is to assemble the frame to the engine all the way to the rear axle. I work hard, and I'm very proud of the work I do. I know my coworkers, and I produce good quality vehicles. I began working at Nissan, but as an employee of Kelly Services. I worked almost 2 years before I was transitioned over to become a Nissan employee through the Pathways program. The Pathways program moves workers from working from Kelly Services to actually working for Nissan, but as a Permatemp, or a permanent temporary worker. That means although I've been transferred from Kelly Services over to a Nissan employee, I'm still making the same pay that I was when I was a temporary worker for Kelly Services. I make $14 an hour now, and I will top out after 5 years at only $18.35. Nissan workers earn $24 an hour. Our Kelly Services and Pathway workers work side by side with full-time Nissan workers doing the same job, but top out at a much lower pay and benefits. In fact, we have to work 70 hours to earn what a Nissan worker does by doing the same job, working at 40 hours. We even had to train higher paid workers to do the same job we already know. In my mind, that's not fair. Just as this is one of the main reasons I'm having to organize a union at the Nissan plant.
Hey, Robert. Well.
And there are several other reasons I'm having to form a union in Mississippi at the Nissan, and they include, number one, health and safety. Many of the jobs are physically demanding, and there are lots of injuries. Injured workers are not treated fairly, and many are forced back to the same job that they were hurt on. Number two, all temps and pathway workers should be treated the same as Nissan workers. Since we all work for the same company, doing the same job, the pay should be the same. Finally, I want a voice at work. This is one of the main reasons I want a union as employees. We want to be heard, not dictated to. But sadly, both Kelly and Nissan workers face a lot of threats as workers trying to organize a union. Workers are threatened by management at the union and often told that the plant will close and move to Mexico if the union comes in. When I was hired by Kelly, I was even threatened by management, told never to speak the word union or else I'll be terminated. When I went to cast my vote for President of the United States, I voted for Barack Obama twice, and no one threatened me. But with the union vote, there are many threats at Nissan. And Mississippi has a long history of fighting for the right to vote without threats and fear. Labor rights are civil rights. And in closing, I want to thank you again for the opportunity. I never imagined in my lifetime that I'll be invited to the White House and speak on such an important matter. And before I go, I want to leave you out with the slogan, one more time, off a phrase from the Lord's Prayer. And as you can see, I am wearing a button with this slogan: Nissan, lead us not into temptation. Let me say it one more time. Nissan, lead us not into temptation.
Well, Robert, quick, I want to ask one. I had the privilege of sitting with you yesterday, and the thing I remembered the most, and I want to just draw it out a little bit. when you were telling me about when you had to train a permanent worker recently on using, one of the machines, where you had, obviously, they had enough trust in you, so you're training a permanent worker who I assume is making more than you.
Right. On our line, we have several different workers, and it's mixed between Pathway, Kelly, and full-time. Throughout the day, we have like 4 job rotations. Not everybody knows how to do the same job, so myself and others, we have been issues where we've been trained the full-time workers. Even the Kelly people, Kelly Services, they have trained these full-time workers to do the same thing, and it goes throughout the whole plant on all lines.
What was going through your head when you were training that full-time worker?
I said, wow.
Okay. Great. Great.